This is David with Corel Training.
This is Cassie Green from Apparelist.
This is Gordon and Firemark from the Entertainment Law Update.
And you're listening to
Two Regular Guys podcast.
Hosted by
Terry Combs RG, Regular Guy,
and Aaron Montgomery.
The place to be for industry news.
the best dad jokes on earth, along with relevant topics to apparel decorators.
So pass it away.
All right. Well, welcome into the show. It is Friday, September 15th, 2023. I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Erich Montgomery, and you can find me over at oursuccessgroup.com. And guys, we are here. We are in Fort Worth live. You can see we're all sitting here. We'll see how it goes today. So if you're a live viewer right now and you're here, make sure that you're saying hi, because we're hot spotting off of a phone today, and going to be a fun show. We're excited to talk about what got us into the industry, and then why we stayed, however many years that's been.
Oh, do we have to say how many years?
No, I don't think so. But yes, there we go. We got Cindy King. Hi, Cindy. This is way better than the comment from over, which is actually right there that says, "Good morning, looking for y'all on the show floor." So, hi, good to see you. So don't go too far, because we're going to be asking today what got you into the industry and why you stayed.
Think about it, come back.
So think about it, come back. Yeah, you're still questioning that daily, right? So, all right. All right. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. And we're going to obviously try to find out that same information from the other folks that are roaming around here. So we'll see how it goes. But as you can tell, we have our intrepid producer hanging in from the side over here. So Erich, welcome in.
Glad to be here. And as always, you can find me at erichcampbell.com and hanging out on the side of the monitors here. So I might be in front, but I'm still over here managing the back end. So don't expect that I'll always be looking at camera. But the great thing is there's a lot of stuff to look at when you're over here at Impressions Expo. So I can't wait to hear more from all the people who stopped by and honestly talk more about how we got into this industry that we love. So let's move along with it.
Awesome. So if you're at the show, we are in booth 537, back towards the back. So we'd love to have you stop by. Make sure you stay on to the very end, because we have a helping of secret sauce. Aaron's going to stir up a delicious pot of sauce that helps you understand working on versus in your business. So that'll come at the end of the show, assuming that we're going to be having internet and all those things. But if not, hey, we're recording. So I think we have a special segment coming up.
We do. So we also do have a news hit for you guys here. So Erich, whenever you are ready, sir.
Hey everyone, Cassie Green here. I wanted to still get you guys your headlines this week. I know everybody's enjoying a great show right now, but hopefully you have a few minutes to listen to Terry, Aaron, and the two regular guys. First headline this week: Desert Promotions, inundated by hurricane, seeks to restart. On August 20th, up to 4 feet deep in places, mud washed across the parking lot of Desert Promotions, a producer of vinyl graphics, wraps, decorated apparel, and other items, and entered the building, breaking doors and windows, buckling walls, and burying everything inside. According to Somu Dusai, owner of Desert Promotions, the company's equipment, computers, and supplies were a total loss. Since that time, he and a team of volunteers have been working to get this business back underway, and there has been a lot to do. Cleanup, according to Desai, is 90% done, with mold mitigation procedures currently underway. But unfortunately, the type of damage that was sustained is not covered by insurance. So we asked him what the company needs. He says he hopes suppliers and other printers are able to donate or discount equipment to help him get his operations back underway. I encourage you to visit apparelist.com and search for Desert Promotions to find out more and see if you can help. Second headline for you guys today: Printing United Alliance applauds inaugural Congressional Printing Caucus. Ooh, say that 10 times fast. Printing United Alliance applauds the formation of the inaugural Congressional Printing Caucus in the U.S. House of Representatives. This first of its kind bipartisan caucus will focus on advancing a public policy agenda that benefits and protects America's printing industry. This is a big deal, you guys. We're getting representation for the entire industry. Super exciting. The caucus will provide the alliance with regular opportunities to educate a core group of lawmakers and their staff about the issues, legislation, and regulations that have a potential effect on the printing industry. Again, go on over to thepeerless.com to read more about that. Final headline that I want to share with all of you today: Equipment Zone announces DTG Days event. Equipment Zone invites all of you to DTG Days, a celebration of technology, which is a webinar event that promotes, a webinar event that promises to illuminate the remarkable journey and incredible impact of direct-to-garment printing in the world of apparel decoration. DTG Days will take place on September 21st. That's coming up quickly, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and running till about 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch a lot of big names speaking during that webinar, including the awesome two regular guys, Taryn and Ari themselves. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great show. Back to you guys.
All right. Well, thank you for that news, Cassie, that she recorded for us yesterday, I think. And so we have some regulators coming in. Let's see. We're going to get up and Cindy King said good morning and looking for us in the show. And yes, she'll be coming back by again. She just came by. And Kingsbury Crafts, David Gross. Hello, guys. Let's see. Michelle says good morning. So jealous you're of my friend Rena. Good morning from Rena. Fat Dad, morning all. Fat Dad, we have a dad joke coming even though we're here live. Kim Johnson says good morning to three of my favorite guys. And so all right. Well, thanks for everybody that's tuning in. Sorry if I missed anybody while we're cursoring here in the show on the show floor. And Aaron, we also have a dad joke.
We do have a dad joke. And speaking of Rena from Michelle earlier there, her friend Rena, this dad joke is courtesy of Rena Cooper. So send all hate mail to, no, this is actually a pretty good one. Okay. Are you guys ready? Terry, Eric, you ready?
Let's hear it.
All right. I forgot about that. Yeah. All right. Let's do the intro one more time. All right. It's time for the dad joke. How did the bagel escape from jail?
How did the bagel escape from jail?
It picked the locks. There's a parenthesis and everything.
Explain the joke.
Yeah.
All right. Before we dive any further, we want to thank everybody for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. We need your voices. We would love to have the regulators participate in our show intros. So go to decorators.ink/intro and read a few sentences to be a part of every show. We've gotten a few, but don't be left out. We would love to have more. If you are, let's see, if we're always looking for new guests. If you or anybody else you know would like to join us, go to calendly.com/2 regular guys to book a future episode. And you can also email us at info@2 regular guys.com. If you are listening to the podcast version of the show, we'd appreciate you sharing the Two Regular Guys podcast with all your industry friends so they can become regulators too. We would appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, wherever you do your podcast listening. If you're watching us live right now, please join in with your comments and your questions. So, well, let's get started. We have David from Corel Trainer and also my neighbor in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And so we're asking everybody this question: how did you get started in the industry?
You know, I got started in the industry by a gentleman named Don McCowan. Do you remember him? Don McCowan. Awesome guy. He said, you know what? I would like you to come work for me, but take a day off your current job to try it out first. That was in 2006. I took a day off, and I haven't stopped a day since.
You
I haven't
took a day
stopped.
up and never went back.
I didn't. I didn't. He caught me with a trade show in Long Beach. I saw how cool it was, and I'm like, you know what? I think I can do this for a living. I think I can do this. Little did I know I'd be seeing you crazy guys all the time.
Okay, we have our second question is, why did you stay in the industry?
You know, I love this industry. It's a huge industry, but everybody's like a family. Everybody truly is family. I heard you mention Rena's name. You know, I love her like a fat kid loves cake. Everybody here is just awesome. You know, everybody gets along. We all have common interests, common goals. Everybody likes to help people, and it's just cool making custom stuff. You know, you can make custom whatever you want. It's just sweet.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by, and I'm sure you need to get back to your booth.
I'm going to get back there. See you guys there.
Awesome. Thanks, David. Awesome. So I guess maybe I can talk a little bit about how I got started in the industry, if you guys are up for that. And
Do we have time?
Yeah, I should be at the end, whether we need to fill or we need to.
Because you need to go all the way back into the deep history here. Or
Well, yeah, I'll try to be brief, but
sorry,
but
didn't mean to laugh out.
So a lot of the regulators know, but I started into this industry really when I was in college. I worked my way through college, Ohio University, and got my degree in journalism. And but I worked at the campus bookstore. I worked for the soft goods buyer, and that's all you guys know. That's what we do. We do soft goods, and so I was always reading Impressions magazine, and here we are at Impressions Expo. But I was always reading Impressions magazine and thought, man, what a cool business, what a cool industry. And so I had this bright idea right before I graduated to saying, hey, you know what? Since you have so much trouble getting printed apparel, and by the way, every bookstore in America, they want their product on July 1st. And that's for all those kids coming for pre-college, all those tours, all those parents dropping off their freshman kids. And I have 3 college graduate kids myself. So what do you do when you go to school? You go by the bookstore and you get the gear, you know? So luckily 2 of mine were twins. So that was one trip, but and so I said, you know, I could buy the equipment, you could bring it in blank, and then you could get delivery whenever you want it. So, and she goes, that's a great idea. I've never even seen it done before. And so I bought Scott Bresner's book, How to Print T-shirts for Fun and Profit. And it was the first year it was out. So that's kind of dating me. So yes, we're talking 1979.
Yeah, 1979. Yeah. I sold a lot of those books, so I remember the dates.
You, me, Bill Strange. We sold a lot of those books.
Oh, Bill Strange.
But so anyway, I got the equipment and learned by reading the book. You know, the trade shows were just getting started then. There weren't classes per se that you could attend. And so I kind of was self-taught. And here was the greatest benefit for me was I didn't, I had a degree in journalism. I didn't have a degree in business. So I had an assumption that everybody learns everything about the business that they get into. I was totally wrong. No, somebody gets into business. They say, oh, well, hey, I can do a 2-color print. That's all I need to know. I don't need to go to a trade show. I don't need to experiment, learn things. So somewhere along the line, I started getting other screen printers asking me, hey, can you do hats? And I flipped through the How to Print T-shirts book, and oh yeah, it's in the book. Sure, I can do hats.
There's a chapter there.
There's a chapter. Hey, can you do jackets? Well, yeah, it's in the book. I can do jackets. And so, how about if I send you all my hat business? How about if I send you all my jacket business? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I misread this. You guys just get into business and do, you know, as little as possible and make a couple of bucks on the side, and off we go to jobbing out to somebody like Terry. So needless to say, about 6 or 7 years in, one of my competitors offered to buy me out. And I don't think they wanted my little Antec press or my Hicks dryer. No, my home built exposure unit. Sorry, workhorse over there. I built my exposure unit myself. But No, they wanted my customers. I was in Athens, Ohio, 12,000 residents, 25,000 college students, nothing for 2 hours any direction. So I was the fifth screen printer to open my doors. So I took their offer. They lost every account in 6 weeks, but off I went, and I started running bigger and bigger production shops, around the country, and ended up. It's funny because about 10 years in, I'm walking through a trade show, and how to print t-shirt book. Scott Fresner, he was my hero. He was the godfather of screen printing, and so I called home about 10 years into the business and said, "Hey, I'm somebody in screen printing now." And my wife said, "Are you?" And I said, "Yeah, I was just walking through the trade show, and Scott Fresner was coming the other way, and he said, 'Hey, Terry, how you doing?' And because I had a badge on, but anyway, but gosh, several years later, I was running a production shop in Maryland. Was flying out to Kansas for Dad's weekend. Ran into Scott Fresner at the airport, and he said, "Hey, what would you think about coming to Phoenix?" And I'm like, "Well, I've never been there before, but okay." And that was 20 years ago. Went down there, worked with Aaron. That's where we got to know each other and worked together in sales. And I started teaching the screen printing classes there, and the rest is history. The next thing you know, Aaron and I are at a trade show in Long Beach, California, and having one of these conversations, this same conversation, but in a bar. And Aaron said, "Hey, we should do a podcast." And I said, "Yeah, we should. What is that? What's a podcast?" And so yeah, the next thing you know, I'm doing the podcast here with Aaron, and not long after, Erich came along. Started out as a guest, and then became a producer, and getting up early and helping us set up this stuff all the time, and doing much more work than Aaron and myself.
We've been using and abusing him for years.
Hardly true. No.
But so then you said the next question we're asking everybody is, why do you stay? And it's like Hotel California, and it's true also that there are it's like any other business. You're dealing with employees. Anybody out there that has employees for the first time, you're like, oh my gosh. But hey, you got to have those employees to grow your business. But or you ordered purple and you got royal, and all those different things you do. But and I always talk about this in my screen printing classes. I've used the same graphic. It's an eagle with fire coming out of its wings. I've used that same graphic for years in the class, and every time I push that squeegee or pull that squeegee for that highlight white, that last print, I lift the screen and go, "That's really cool." And there's not many jobs out there that you can do. And, the guy that did my taxes, I don't think he finished my taxes and said, that was awesome. I can't wait to do some more taxes. No offense to any accountants out there. Okay. But
no, my dad used to say that all the time. It was, "Oh my God, we just finished our tax return. This is so great."
That's right. Aaron's dad was a CPA. So, but anyway, so I think that's why people stay. It's just a fun, creative business. And you want to, you just want to be a part of it. And so, and yes, I do use my journalism degree. I've written hundreds of articles, several books. So, all that time wasn't wasted, but, I found my passion really in the garment decorating industry. So who wants to go next? Who wants to talk about?
I'll dive in here. And Terry, I was just thinking about this though. We didn't really think through this whole subject, and then having Erich here, because we're going to make him actually have to dig in and question why he's still here. And so this could be the last time. No.
I think it's producing the show.
I think that's why I stayed. Yeah. Couldn't be it. Yeah. So I guess I'll go. Let's talk to some folks here. Cindy used to work with us over there at US Screen. So hi, so great to see you thriving after so many years working together. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. We still hang out, Cindy. So, and then Ramona says, "I used to be a numbers person. Love the challenge of balanced books." There you go. Good. Becky, saw you pop in there. Good morning. And hello, Mr. Dot Tone Dan from Tennessee. So yeah, you guys that are tuned in, we're doing good so far. So I'm not going to jinx it. There's wood under here. We'll start knocking on that. But we want to hear from you guys. How did you get into the industry? And then, what keeps you around? What keeps you coming back for more each and every day? And so I'll share, Eric will share. We'll see if we can track down a few more people here. We got to get Cindy back here. Cindy, if you're tuned in, Rena, if you're running around listening, get over here. You got to be on. And is Jay Bassell alive? Should we get him to
I had breakfast with Jay. He is alive.
Okay, that's good. No, nothing happened. All right. So let's see here. What was the question again?
How did you get involved in the industry?
It's Terry's fault. No.
I went home early. Just say it.
Okay. So, how far back do I need to go? Just yeah. Well, okay. I got involved in the industry. So, let me go a little bit before I got involved. So, I was living in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I was selling printing, like catalogs and flyers and things like that. And in where I lived in Colorado Springs and where we worked, Hewlett Packard had a huge facility across the way, and I actually did really well with Hewlett Packard. So I thought I was a great salesman. I was an order taker. And so then I decided to move back home to Phoenix. My family had moved there. My son, who was probably just 3, 4, 5 years old at the time, had moved back to Phoenix. And so I came back to be closer to him, and I found another job doing the same thing, selling digital printing. This was at a time when the Heidelberg direct to imaging systems had just come out. So to be able to get the prints done like next day, and that's why Hewlett Packard loved it, because they could get like 50 little sales sheets for something. And we loved it because we could charge them a ton, because we could do it quicker than any other printers out there. Right. So come to Phoenix, a little different market down there. There was several Heidelberg DIs in Phoenix, so it was a little more competitive. And I realized I was not all that great at sales. I didn't have the drive to go out there and be the salesperson. I realize now I'm an educator is really what I was able to do, and so I would help people and help them solve problems, and that's how I would sell stuff. But anyhow, somebody kept telling me that Scott Fresner, who you already brought up, used to buy a ton of printing from this new company that I went to work for in Phoenix. And so the one thing I do have, we show up every week for 517 episodes. I can be a little persistent. And so I kept calling. Thank goodness Bill Strange actually worked there, because when I can't remember who was the lady that was there at the I think she was still there when you showed up. It's like Asha or something like that. Does that name sound familiar? Okay. Well, she was a heck of a gatekeeper, so I could never get through to Scott. But every once in a while, Bill would answer the phone and, just have a great chat with Bill. And the next thing you know, I'm talking to Scott on the phone. And so Scott finally one day said, all right, come on in. I'll hear you out. And I come in, I sit down, I'm thinking, oh man, I got it. This is going to be great. I'm finally going to be getting some business so I can actually start paying my bills. And I get in there. He says, okay, well, we just bought these Epson 3000s. We do all of our printing in-house now. And so I don't need any printing, but I need a sales guy. And you were very persistent. And that's what I'm looking for. And he's like, so what do you think? Would you come? And he offered me a base plus commission. And so I'm, inside going, oh my God, when can I start? But I had to try to play it cool. So I'm like, well, I'm doing pretty good, but let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And like the next day I called him back and said, okay, I gave my 2 weeks notice. And
he probably heard you outside in the parking lot going, woohoo.
Yeah. Probably so. I'm sure I didn't hide it very well, but there you go. Well, so that's how I got into it. So I started with US Screen. When I started there, it was Scott and Pat, which Pat's his wife, and then their kids, Michael and Michelle. And then there was the part-time lady at the front. I think her name was Asha. There was the young lady that did the shipping in the back, Cheryl Cartwright, and Bill Strange. I was then
his real name, by the way, not his stage name. His real name, Bill Strange.
Real name, Bill Strange. In fact, the great part about Bill is he was just such a fun guy that he would answer the phone and say, this is Bill Strange, strange, unusual, just as it sounds. Yeah. So I I got there. I was the fourth employee, and it was just cool. You know, by the time you got there, you know, we were still having lunch every day, kind of as a
conference room table.
Yeah. It was our sales meeting, right? And it just cost him a couple of burritos. So, and it was really cool, and getting to see. So here's the other part that I'm kind of leading into what kept me around. Right, is 2 days after I started, I got put on a plane to Chicago. This is when Impressions was at the McCormick place still.
Right.
And I got put on that plane to Chicago. Apparently, because it was so last minute, they booked my flight with points, and the only available seats were in first class. So I'm going, sweet, this is how we roll. We're rolling first. Yeah, we're rolling first class. I go in. So again, it was so last minute that the show was already started. I got there the morning of the show started, so I didn't have to do setup. And then again, the flights didn't really work out, so I stayed an extra night. And a company that I don't see around a whole lot anymore, Zonte. Remember them, the laser printers, and I think they still do a little bit, but
They're still around.
Yeah. Just in different areas. I think not so much in our industry anymore, but they were pretty aggressive into the industry at that point, and we were selling those machines. And before, you know, the inkjet film positives came out, we were using the Zonte for film positives, and they took me out to the House of Blues, and oh man, we had a good time. And so that's you know, kind of got me hooked. But the cool part about being at that show, I obviously knew nothing about screen printing, about, you know, the decorated apparel industry. But what was cool is I got to sit there and listen. And what I realized is that everybody's kind of got all the exact same questions. They just word it the same way. Yeah. So once I started hearing the answers, I'm like, okay, I just got to listen, share. And, you know, at that time, yeah, we were taking orders, right? So we were selling fast films at the time, the color separation software, and Scott would do his little presentation, and we would take orders. So again, I went from going, oh man, I'm a really good salesperson because HP just happened to be there, and then to, oh my gosh, I'm not a very good salesperson, to, oh my God, I'm a good salesperson again. But again, I was just an order taker. So,
you know, I remember when Bill used to say at the shows, how do you guys sell so much? And we had it down. Scott would do his presentation. You and I would drift over behind the order desk and just start taking credit cards. I remember having credit cards in between my fingers because people wanted to pay $1,000 for that software. You just call out their name, they come up, pick the order, call out the next person's name. Yeah, that we were selling hard. We were
yeah. All while poor Bill was explaining for 30 minutes how the How to Print T-shirt for Fun and Profit book for $40 was going to help them out. All right. Well, Dot Tone Dan here says when I first met Aaron, it was at a show working for Scott. Yeah, I do remember that, because I believe at that time, Dan, you were a Disney employee, if I recall correctly, Dan. So correct me if I'm wrong. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Oh my God, I'm talking to somebody who works for Disney. So that was pretty cool. So I guess just to wrap up though, to finish kind of why I stayed beyond that, obviously the people and that kind of thing. But what I really was excited about was just, so going back to mentioning about my dad, you know, he really specialized in working with small businesses in his CPA firm. I mean, he did work for everybody, but he really helped a lot of small businesses. And I just thought that was the coolest thing, that people would, you know, kind of break the norm, right? I'm not going to go work the 9 to 5. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to build something that's valuable. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. And when I saw that we could then in this industry really help small businesses, because if you think about what we do, a lot of the stuff that we do, it's a fairly low barrier of entry, right? You get into some other industries, you've got to come with some pretty big capital. But like, you know, I've kind of fallen in love over the years with sublimation, and you can be a very successful sublimation decorator and $2,500 maybe. I mean, that's probably more than lots of people actually started with. But, you know, to really kind of go, okay, let's start here. you get a good heat press, you get a decent printer, you know, and ink, and you're good. I mean, you could probably do it for way less. So, which is really cool because then it brings those creative people. I think what the challenge then became, and this was the part that really hooked me, is that my problem solving abilities then showed up, because that's like, okay, I get what you're trying to do. I know that you can't invest in anything else. So how do we figure out to get from point A to point B? Sometimes that's a Band-Aid for a little bit, right? But so that's really what hooked me, is just being able to watch these small businesses be able to thrive, watch them be creative, industrious, and so I just figured out, you know what, as long as I'm helping small businesses grow, I'm gonna keep doing it. And honestly, throughout my career, as that kind of focus on supporting small businesses change, and not in a bad way. I mean, just companies do change and evolve and end up working in different ways with different types of people. You know, I could kind of feel that my time with them was coming to the end until I finally got brave enough. Thanks very much to Todd Downing for helping me get our success group off the ground, and you know, now it's on me. So scary stuff.
You know, Aaron, when you say that about the small businesses and having success, I was in the Workhorse booth over here next to us yesterday, and the videographer, his videography team, is also a decorator, multiple automatic presses, and he came by and he goes, I know you don't remember me, but I came to your class in Phoenix about 8 years ago, and I just wanted to come over and shake your hand and tell you, you know, things are going great. I've, you know, doing lots of production. I also own this videography company, and so, you know, that makes you feel good when you actually get a chance to talk to those people that were in the class, you know, gobbling up all the information you're sharing, and then taking it home and having successful businesses, and so I'd love to hear their stories.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think for the regulators that are tuned in right now, here's what I'm hoping that they're taking from this. Obviously, we're having a good time here. We're sitting here, you know, we get to say hi to people as they walk by. We're going to start grabbing some other people and get them in here. We're going to have Erich talk in just a second. But for you guys, if you think about it, right, ask that second question, okay? How you got into the business, great. But I want people to really think about that second question. Why is it that you're staying? And I think that's really important because, yeah, like I said, I've gotten to a point where I've learned enough to where I can kind of sense when I'm getting off track. And so now I can make a change. But I think sometimes people forget to ask that second question, and then they just get in that rut and they stay there, right? And so, you know, for those of the regulars that are tuned in that are small business owners or even working for somebody, right? You got to ask that second question, maybe the third question and stuff like that. So thank you for bringing that up. All right. So Erich, what do you think here? Should we hit a quick commercial break to let everybody breathe for a second, and then you can there you go. Radical Goal Getters would be perfect. So let's do that, Erich.
Are you feeling stuck in your journey? Have you made investments in programs or put time into your business and can't seem to get there fast enough? Don't go it alone. Take a look at Radical Goal Getters and unlock what you've been missing. Radical Goal Getters is a facilitated 6-month mastermind program designed by Success Principles trainers who have led masterminds for Mr. Jack Canfield. These cohorts are your ticket to success in just 6 months. It's not just another program or training class. It will become your success community. This specific proven concept is the support, accountability, and expert guidance you need to break through barriers. Visit radicalgoalgetters.com to learn more and apply for your life-changing opportunity. New mastermind groups are now forming. Imagine achieving your #1 goal, being truly fulfilled, all while being surrounded by like-minded peers who cheer you on every step of the way. That's the Radical Goal Getters difference. All you have to do is apply at radicalgoalgetters.com today.
All right, folks. So if you get a chance, go check that out. Aaron's program, radicalgoalgetters.com is where you go find that. And that's just something exciting going on with Aaron. Those groups have been really energizing over there. Something to check out. Though now we're back, and very obviously Aaron is off searching for some other talent. You know, we can't. Terry does a lot of lifting here, being the talent, but you know, sometimes we have to have other folks here.
We think that's what he's doing. He just got up and walked away. So
Maybe he didn't know why he stayed.
He probably thought the show was over.
Oh, hey, his promo's over, so why hang out, right? All right. And he's heard me talk before, and I'm going to talk about how I got into the industry and why I stay. And frankly, it's how I got into the industry in the first place was it was a job I was doing in college. That's the real answer. The answer is I fell in, I slid in sideways. Like Terry says, armed with his degree in journalism, well, armed with my potential degree in English medieval studies, I found myself working for a t-shirt shop. And
I just saw a job posting for that.
Yeah.
Medieval studies.
Yeah, I could start over. You never know. But yeah, sincerely, we started out, we were working in a shop, and I was the guy who was hucking boxes in the back of a truck, right? So most of the work I was doing was all about just literally working in the back of the truck, working with the production staff and doing that stuff. So at first, I did not have any machinations to be part of the decorating staff. However, they started putting me on operator duties. They're like, hey, were you willing to run this machine? And I said, yeah, anything that I can run, I'm willing to do it. Any piece of tech, I'm happy to push buttons on because I was always kind of a techie kid. So they stick me behind the machine, start operating those. I learned to run a couple of 6 needle Tajimas, which is going to also age me a little bit. They were old machines when we started, but I still ran some pretty old hardware. And once that started in, operated for a little while, got good at that, and noticed under a dust cover in the corner, I'm like, there's a computer back there, and I'm a techie person. So I'm like, man, I would love to check what that is. Turns out it was a digitizing system. People were afraid to use it, and I checked it out. I was like, if it was a computer, I wanted to play with it because I was a teenager who was over there trying to honestly get on the internet for free on the boss's dime and hang out, right? Well, turns out it's digitizing, and I'm like, I can control these machines myself. It's super awesome stuff. So I got to go ahead and do that, and that was the start of it, right? Digitizing within 3 months, and this is what I didn't know. Everybody said it takes you a year to get good. Well, within 3 months, I was doing all the production digitizing with my first jobs. And unbeknownst to me, my very first job digitizing, which was horrible, by the way. It was terrible, looked bad, ran bad. Turns out the owner of the company I was at worked for some guys out in New York. It was for one of the kids of the current head of Nautica, the clothing brand Nautica. So my very first embroidery was something for the high school graduation for his kid. And I didn't know. I turned over a horrible job for somebody from a massive clothing company. Luckily, it wasn't fatal. They kept me on, and I learned, but entirely on my own, kind of in the dark, doing my own thing. Learned how to do the digitizing myself. Within 3 months, I was doing full production. And without going too far into it, because we have other folks who want to get into, I'm just going to go briefly into my answer about why I stay and why I think we all stay. First of all, the creative problem solving and doing something creative, being able to make something real and physical out of the computer stuff that I was used to as a techie kid was awesome. And I loved making that creative stuff. Secondly, I loved helping people express themselves because we got to make the coolest stuff that really helps people identify themselves and show what they belong to. And third, getting to educate people. Whereas I had to learn entirely in the dark, kind of trial and error, beating my head against the wall and staying late nights because my boss very graciously let me stay whatever unpaid hours I wanted to learn. Sat at those machines by myself learning, and it was really impressive, really great. Loved doing it, but I didn't want somebody else to suffer like I did to learn. So when it came time to teach, I started teaching and have been doing so ever since. First, hanging out with these guys, I did some award stuff where I turned in some pieces to Stitches magazine at the time, won a couple of awards, and they said, hey, could you write a blog? And that was 2006. And now I'm still teaching units every time we're here. So why do I stay now? Because I get to help people not only through the education that we do, so they don't have to do trial and error like I did coming up, but secondarily because working also where I work now within Brilliance, I get to help new people who are just starting to digitize have the tools they need to do what they want to do and express themselves and run their own businesses. And I think what's funny is, just like Aaron said with small business, one of the things that touched me the most is I had a guy from Canada who ran a business. He said, I've been following your stuff the entire time I started this business. And he's like, you know what, man, you paid for my kids' braces this year.
That's awesome.
And I was like, that touched me. I was like, hey, man, he's like, I took your advice on something and it totally cut all this process down and you paid for my kids' braces. I'm like, that is as most real world as you can get, right? All right.
Eric, I have to call you out a little bit because back when you were a regular guest on Two Regular Guys, sometime during the conversation, and we weren't on video, we would say, Eric, are you digitizing right now?
Yeah, not only that, sometimes while I'm producing, I'm still digitizing right now. So I don't want to tell them. If you guys have used any fonts and brilliance recently, at least some of those were made while I was producing the show. Yeah.
And then to also answer the question about why Eric stayed is we actually have his leg chained to the desk right now. So yeah. All right. Well, as you guys can tell, we've got another guest that's joined us here. We've got Kevin with Chromaline joining us. Hey, Kevin. So we're going to get this over to you, but Terry, you want to ask him the questions, please?
I will do that. So Kevin, how did you get involved in the industry?
Yeah, so I started out in high school. So in high school, my shop class had a graphics program. So I started with screen printing in this graphics program in high school, and I really enjoyed it. It just kind of clung to me. It just seemed like a really good fit. I started printing for some of my friends' bands and stuff like that, right? And that's kind of a similar story that I've seen with a bunch of people, right? For my own band, for my friends' bands, that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where that really started and where that love of it started. My shop teacher in high school, I asked him, I said, where can I go to college and really take this to the next level? And he said, UW Stout, which has an excellent printing and graphics program. So I went to UW Stout and I got my 4-year degree and I packed it into 5 years. And what that GCM program was, graphic communication management, was all forms of printing. And to be fair, screen printing was even such a small portion of what that program was, even though it was the printing form that I just kind of fell in love with more than the rest of them, right? To finish my degree, I had to do an internship. So I interned with CFAR, the mesh manufacturer, and I was there for 1 semester, had to go back, finish school, and then they hired me on full-time as their application specialist. So I was their application specialist for about 6 years, and then I found my way to Chromaline. And I've been with Chromaline now for over almost 14 years, and it's been an excellent ride so far. Yeah, it's been fun.
That's awesome. So you kind of grew up in the industry starting in high school, but what made you stay in the industry?
So, I mean, I think, well, one, I just really fell in love with the process, right? So, I mean, they can come out with all these new digital processes and everything like that, but I really feel the old school art form of coating your screens and the whole entire exposure process, everything of that process, I really fell in love with. And that's kind of, what I gravitated towards now when I get into my job at Chromaline. I really enjoy helping people and them being able to gravitate towards that and find their niche in the process as well. And as we all know, people struggle with the screen room. When we talk about screen printing, the screen room is a struggle for a lot of people starting in this. So if I can help a couple people and help them kind of get through some of those roadblocks and help get on the right path, that's kind of why I'm staying. Absolutely.
I love that you say that, because in my screen printing classes, I always say, it's screen printing. It's all about the screen. If you get the screens right, you're 90% there.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's called screen printing for a reason. The screen is important. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I think you count officially as a garment decorating nerd like the rest of us. So welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I take that as a badge of honor, honestly. Yeah.
Hey, Terry, I got a quick question for Kevin. Kevin, so tell us a little bit about Chromaline. Anything new and exciting over there, and just kind of give us a little rundown for people that might not be familiar.
Yeah, so as far as Chromaline goes, we manufacture premium emulsions, inkjet films, a full line of screen chemicals, and we have all kinds of equipment to automate your screen room too. So from everything from automated coders to automated reclaim, automated exposure units like the LTS system, we pretty much can offer anything for the screen room, from front to back. Output systems with inkjet film for printers with inkjet film. So it doesn't matter if you're a small shop or if you're a massive shop trying to automate the entire process. We've got things that can fit for every single shop.
I think Aaron talking about the Epson 3000 for film output might predate you a little bit.
Yeah, well, I have worked with that one. Really? Yeah, and that honestly was was a really workhorse of a printer, right? I mean, there were so many of those printers in between then and now that have just been almost like a throwaway printer, head problems and everything, right? So I've actually been testing the new Epson T3170X, which doesn't use cartridges. It actually uses a tank. So we've got bottles of ink that just plug in, and you would fill all 4 of those tanks with the all black system. No chips, none of the problems. So it seems like it's going to be a pretty good option here going forward. Yeah.
I didn't know that either. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by and appreciate it very much. Have a good show.
Yeah. Have a good show. Enjoy. Thanks, guys.
All right. Now we had a line of people here ready to go on the air, and and they seem to have drifted away. All right. I think Aaron's going to go over and grab somebody else. We have any more comments that we want to share here? Rugs, how you doing, Rugs? Great topic. Personally, can't wait to see what's next. And cheers. So, you know what? I can move out of the way, and we have 2 guests that apparently are negotiating.
Yes, we've negotiated the terms of them joining the show. So come on in. Cindy, you want to scooch over there? And then all right. Yeah, we're doing the musical chairs. We got the one mic that we're passing around here. So we have, and you guys are very familiar. All right, there we go. Yeah, we'll get that all moved. So I'm gonna see if I can do this from back here. So we'll see how this goes. No, you're good. You're good. You can see me right in the screen there. Okay.
So what's it feel like to be on the other side of the screen here?
Love it.
All right. Well, let's introduce here. We've got Cindy King, and we also have Mandy from Applique Getaway, is where you would know Mandy from. So, all right, lady. Yeah, Mandy has a fan club. So does Cindy. I love it. Okay, so ladies, thank you so much for being here and joining us too, and we're having a good time. And but we've been asking people how you got into the industry. So let's start there. So Cindy, can I start with you? Can you give us a little history of how you got into this industry?
Well, I've always been a seamstress, but in our town, there was one big embroidery company. And if you wanted something, you may have to wait 3 or 4 weeks to get your product, even if it was 6 caps. Okay. So I started out with a single head because I'd have a baseball team come in and they needed 12 hats and the coaches wanted 2 special different ones. And so it was always a time frame thing. Yeah. So that's what got me started. So I had a single head, and when you're running 144 caps on a single head, it's not all that fun. So then we're already screen printers. Okay. And so then I moved up to 4-head, and that made life easier. And then I've got a 6-head, and that made life even. So that's how I got started in the business. But I love sewing. I love the art of it. I don't get to do the fun art like Applique Getaway type thing where you're doing creative and having fun. I'm more commercial, logos, companies, schools, that type of thing. But that's how, because of the fact that waiting on your product from the big people. Yeah. That was my big thing.
Excellent. Yeah. So Cindy, you may have said this, but when did you get into, you said you're also screen printers and whatnot. So just around about time when you got it, because you've been doing this for a little bit, right?
With screen printing, for ourselves, we've been doing it over 30 years. Okay. So.
All right. Wonderful. And then just kept evolving. So, all right, Mandy, your turn. So how'd you get into the industry?
Oh, accidentally. I got into it accidentally. Yep. I picked it up as a hobby to get my mind off of other things going on in my world. And then the neighborhood found out, and I started stitching stuff. So it's still an accidental business. It stays in my house as an accidental business. It's a great side hustle, and I love it. Yeah. And I've been doing it for about 11 years.
So what drew you to it? What was the
when I'm doing it, I don't have to think about anything else but that. Yeah. Yeah. I think my mental health drew me to it. Quite weird answer, but it is what it is.
I love it. I love it. Well, okay. So the follow-up question here, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, you know, sometimes people don't really ask that second question. I think this is really important for us to think about as business owners and just as people in this industry. Why did you stay? You said about 30 years, Cindy. You know, I'm sure they weren't all excellent days every single day, but maybe they were. For you, I think they probably are because you're that awesome. But so yeah, that's right. I want to ask you for something later. No, but yeah. So just kind of tell us a little bit about what keeps you going. Why did you stay? So again, we're going to start with you, Cindy, here.
Well, I just love it. I love the fact that you can put a design in your machine and you come out with something fantastic looking. I don't necessarily do much of the digitizing, but I have a great group of people that do, friends. And it's just,
I know a guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just the fun of seeing your end product. Now, the last 2 weeks have been crazy sewing my eyeballs out. So sometimes I'm like, but I had a customer come in and he goes, when are y'all going to retire? And I go, I don't think I ever will because I love doing this.
Yeah.
And I do get to stop every now and then and do some fun things for myself. So, but I just love it. That's why.
All right, Mandy, your turn. All right. What keeps you going every day? Yeah. Why do you stay?
Because I like it to pay for itself and I enjoy doing it. And I like the spending money. And I like that when I go into that room, nobody else bothers me.
No, that's so perfect. But I also like what you said, you know, it talked about the mental health aspect of it, where it can help you there. Could you expand on that a little bit more and you know, just maybe some other folks out there are kind of feeling like, you know, they've got some challenges going on. And so how did you see the industry in improving your mental health?
Sometimes you have to make yourself a job that you enjoy so much that everything else going wrong in your world is insignificant. Some days you get into your office and you relax and not the other way around. And the person who can do that is blessed, just like me, just like Cindy. Yeah. And sometimes your mental health deserves that blessing. Everybody should be able to do something that they love every single day. Yeah.
All right. So last thing for you, just anything you guys want to shout out, anything new and good in your world, just anything. You've got a few listeners here that, you know, you can share anything you want with them. So open mic.
Hey, Ramona. Hello. I don't know if Barb's on. Does Barb usually watch on the tube? Anyway, Barb, I just got a post-bed machine. I just purchased it. I'm really excited. No, but I love the Two Regular Guys, and I try to always watch them. Sometimes they interfere with one of my other sewing shows, but I'll flip back and forth. But these are great guys and a great group of people. It's a family. It's a community.
Oh, something new in my world. My youngest child moved out, so I got one more room to craft in. Cheers to me.
Hey, Mandy, you were talking about people might know you through Applique Getaway, and I haven't seen all the specific details, but I think they've got something coming up pretty soon, right? An event.
We have the virtual Applique Getaway coming up, and you can go online and register for it now at appliquegetaway.com. Yeah.
And I registered yesterday, and I've already paid my money.
Yes, register. Get on. It's such a great way to get some wonderful classes. Yeah. And it's right in your home.
And I was going to say, even if you don't get to watch all the classes, I like to support them. And that's another way to support them, just being a registered person. So anyway.
Well, you guys are incredible and amazing. Thank you so much for your time and stopping by. And yeah, I'm glad you found us too. You commented before and we're like, and then by the time we saw it, you were standing right there. And we're like, oh, we're right here. All right, you guys have a great day. All righty. Thank you. All right. So where we at here? Oh man, we were the timing. Yeah, we had a few other people, but I think we're okay, right? We're good. All right. Well, we're gonna get Terry out of here in just 1 second. So let's Dan, did we get that one already? I'm still here in the industry because as an artist, I found I was able to learn from other teachers, trade magazine articles, contributors that allowed me to dig deep and learn what it's needed in order to produce my images, illustrations better. After learning so much, like Superman learning he has powers, he used them for good of the people. I too offer up what I know for the good of the people, and I don't wear a cape. Yeah, real superheroes don't wear capes, Dan. So I love it. I love it. Ramona's prepping to be a teacher this year. Congrats, Ramona, for Applique Getaway Virtual. All right, well, let's close up here with what we've got coming up, and then we'll get the secret sauce and amazing. There's Kim Johnson, everybody. Hi, Kim Johnson. She's gonna be mad at me, I think, probably. No. All right, Terry, what is coming up in your world here soon?
All right, I have my complete screen printing business course at Workhorse Products right here next to us at Workhorse. They're giving away 2 passes to the September 23rd, 24th event. Otherwise, it's sold out, so I'll be there December 9th and 10th. On this Thursday, Jay Bassell and I are going to be hosting the Equipment Zone webinar called DTG Days, and it's been nearly 20 years, so we're bringing together a host of guests to talk about the start and the middle and where we're going with DTG. And Aaron, you're going to be one of the guests there, so sign up free for that at equipmentzone.com. And I have to tell you, gentlemen, that I just got an email, and the seminar that I'm going to be hosting, they said they're running way early. Can you rush over to the seminar hall? So I'm going to leave you guys here to wrap up. Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Bye, Terry. All right. Well, here we'll do this then. All right. So, Eric, do you have what do you? Oh, sorry. You got what you need here? You ready to share what you got coming up?
To be honest, folks, mostly what I'm going to tell you is that the take-up is going to probably be postponed today. I think we're not going to be able to do this live because I am here live gathering information at Impressions Expo. If I can go live, you'll probably get a slightly unscheduled direct live where we go ahead and do something where we just talk about what we're seeing here at the show and the stuff that's going on. But you will get a makeup kind of episode from me later on down the road where I talk about the education we did here and everything that I learned from the embroiderers here and what they took away from learning from me. So go ahead and go to erichcampbell.com. Check out the Take Up tab at the top, and you'll be able to catch that and all of the archived episodes from the previous session. So go there this week if you have to. We'll certainly try and get in a brief live, but we're going to postpone the live show in the normal slot today so that we can go ahead and let me finish up my time here at Impressions Expo. But until then, check out erichcampbell.com, and you'll be hearing from me soon with all the information from the expo.
Excellent. Cool. Check that out, and make sure you go to erichcampbell.com. All right. For me, Eric, I have the 5 Keys of Marketing workshop happening. It's a 5-day workshop that happens next week, and September 18th through the 22nd. And we're going to help you build a 12-week marketing roadmap and build out that plan to have the best fourth quarter yet. And it's really exciting. It's something that's part of the Our Success Group membership program. But if you are not an Our Success Group member, you can also still join us. Just head over to oursuccessgroup.com/5 keys marketing. That's the number 5 keys marketing. And check that out. Obviously, we're here at the Impressions Expo show, so lots of good stuff still happening here. And they're already getting excited about their Long Beach show next year, so I know you're going to have some more news about that in the coming weeks. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes, but looking forward to that. Also, Printing United is still going on this year. Not still, like it wasn't going to happen, but meaning there's still another show left this year. I'm already thinking about 2024, but we have the Printing United Expo coming up really soon, October 18th through the 20th in Atlanta, Georgia. And I actually have 2 sessions that I will be teaching there this year. Wednesday, October 18th at 2 p.m. Eastern time there in Atlanta. I'm doing pricing for profit strategies for setting pricing that works for your business. And then the next day on Thursday, October 19th at noontime, So somebody bring me some lunch. No, I was kidding. I'm going to be talking about building a strong marketing foundation, the key elements for attracting your ideal customers. And then last but not least here, if you haven't already had a chance to check it out, my book is out there available as an ebook currently, with pre-orders of the paperback version available to you as well. So it's the book is called The Fundamentals of Business Success. And I'm really excited about the people that have gotten that the book already, and some of the comments and things that I've been getting back from them. I just really appreciate all the wonderful feedback and the great reviews. I think that we're going to be able to help some small businesses with it. So I'm excited about that. But Erich, we are ready to do some secret sauce so we can get everybody out here and get back on the show floor. And we might do the half though, folks, just FYI. So stay tuned. Yeah, see how it goes. But let's cook up this batch of secret sauce here, Erich. All right. So today's flavorful topic is crucial for every business owner out there: the difference between working on your business versus working in your business. So I want you to think of this like cooking a gourmet meal, a gourmet dish. When you're working in your business, you're right there, you're hands deep in all the mix and adding the ingredients and stirring the pot. And, it's the immediate hands-on work that gets the dish cooked. That's the working in your business. You have to have the end result. So working in your business is necessary and even crucial at times. But who's refining that recipe if you're always working in, right? Who's ensuring that each time you make that dish gets better, it's more efficient, it's more delicious? So that's where the working on your business comes into play. It's about stepping back, tasting the dish, and figuring out what it needs. Maybe it's a pinch of salt, maybe it's a dash of spice, right? It's about refining that recipe and setting the menu for your future and ensuring that each time you serve it up, it's a hit. Now, I'm sure some of you guys might be thinking, well, I'm too busy cooking to refine the recipe, right? But here's what I know is true. Working on your business means the fact that it might seem like something you just don't have time for. But when you're feeling overwhelmed by being responsible for so many things, but it's the only way to actually work on your business. It's the only way to get beyond that overwhelmed feeling, right? So it's the old saying that you can't see the forest for the trees. So as chefs, as business owners here, we have to back up from it, right? We have to understand that we can't just always be getting our hands dirty. We have to look at the overall process. It's about being proactive and not only being reactive all of the time. So when you invest time in working on the business, it's like things like elevating your business plan, doing things like improving your policies, optimizing your workflows, and other similar responsibilities. You're combating that overwhelm and fear, and then you're going to have more clarity and confidence. And when you have that more clarity and confidence, then that's going to mean fewer complaints, fewer returns, fewer challenges that you're unprepared for, and ultimately just happier customers and happier you just by working on your business. And there's another benefit here, Erich. It's called passion, right? When you love what you're doing and you know exactly why you're doing it and you're having fun operating from a state of flow, right? Over time, we can get bogged down in the details, the daily grind, right? But that passion can start to, not be so bright and vibrant, right? And not be so hot. But when you go back and then work on your business and you start being strategic and proactive, you kind of turn up the heat on that passion and you kind of rekindle that flame. So I want to leave you guys with a quick recipe to go along with our secret sauce theme here, of how to work on your business more, right? So dedicate 15% of your business time to working on type task. That could, again, be refining your business plan, brainstorming new strategies, or any other big picture tasks. So let's say you commit 40 hours a week to your business, like a typical employer might require of you for that opportunity to build their business, right? The 40-hour work week. Here's the deal. If if that's that number for you, 40 hours is what you have available to you to work on to work on and in your business, just 6 hours. That's all you need. It's just 6 hours. It's 51 minutes a day. And if you're sitting there going, Aaron, I don't know where I'm going to get 6 hours a week, right? I'm already got this jam-packed schedule. Well, I would say the first working on your business task you need to do is to do a simple time study, right? Just get out a pad of paper, and every time you switch tasks, write it down, and then you can go back and review that and find out, okay, what can be delegated, what can be dumped, and just make that commitment to your success, right? So that those 50 to 60 minutes a day are the secret ingredients to your business success and falling in love with your business all over again. So that is my secret sauce for today. Okay, well, there we go. We've done it. We've come to the close of another show. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. We want to thank the internet gods for allowing this to work out today. And I want to thank Erich for sitting in front of the camera and still making all the button clicks and keeping this thing running and doing a great job. Thanks to Terry. Thanks to all of our guests. Thanks to all the people that stopped in and shared a little bit about their story. Thanks to you guys, the regulars that jumped in there and shared your story as well. And we really appreciate all of that. So, Erich, I think we have done it. Now, one last thing before we go here. We're working on next week's show. So what topics do you guys want? Who do we need to talk to? Send us those comments or reach out to us at info@2regularguys. So I will let you take over for Terry time here.
Yeah, you got it. All right. So I'm not going to thank myself, but I will say this. Glad to have you guys on. It was great to do this show. But until then, I'm Erich Campbell sitting in for Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And that was the Two Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.